So, Robert,
Hi.
Jack and I were talking to you about roller coasters the other day, and we'd come to the conclusion that you had never been to Cedar Point as long as you've lived in Ohio.
Yep, and let's move on to the next topic on our list.
What are you scared of?
It's not
What's
even
the worst that can happen on a roller coaster?
Are you seriously asking that question?
What, you're just scared of barfing a little bit on yourself?
No,
Or
dude,
like
I think you watched Final Destination 3 too many
Dying.
times.
He's scared of dying.
Oh my God.
This is an actual statistic. This is an actual statistic. I can't talk. Statistic. You are actually like 100 times, something ridiculous like that, safer on the roller coaster than you are traveling to and from the theme park.
No, and I get that. Like, I'm someone who isn't even afraid of like flying planes, you know? Like, it's just that roller coaster, like the idea of like, let me expose myself to like 5+ G's for a couple minutes. Like, that's just completely uninteresting to me.
Oh, what? No, if you got to feel alive, man. You got to feel the wind in your hair,
God.
the bugs splattering on your face.
It's so great. Roller coasters are like one of my favorite inventions.
Hold on. Have you've ridden a roller coaster though before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, where and when?
Let me think. I've been on one in Florida, not Disneyland or World, whichever one's there.
Busch Gardens?
Yeah, there. That's where I went to. But that was like really young. And then more recently in Seoul in Lotte World, which is like
Man, Korea does not fuck around with the roller coasters either.
Oh no, they're big. They're good.
They have some serious ones. Yeah. They have one in Japan, I want to say. It's only like the car is very small. It only seats 4 people at a time, but it goes beyond 90 degrees the first drop. Ugh. If that makes sense. It goes like 120 degrees, something dumb like that.
Dude, give me it.
Awesome.
Give me it.
That sounds so incredible. You're like almost upside down. It's like incredible.
Yeah, dude, it blew my mind when, do you remember when the Maverick came out at Cedar Point, Jack?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so like everyone was like freaking out because that first hill goes 95 degrees, whatever.
It's sweet. I loved it. It's not that tall either, but it's effective. And it launches you up, right? Like those magnets, like launch you
it gets
up
you
the
up
hill.
there quick. It's still my favorite roller coaster there.
It's very alarming when you're used to a roller coaster just going up the first hill, click, 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 click. It's very alarming the first time one just goes, no, fuck you. You're like, wait a second.
Dude. I'm not ready.
Too fast.
Yeah, dude. The Maverick and the Millennium Force do that. Dude, like going from like the Magnum, which is the old school like chain link kind of thing, to like something like the Maverick is wow. Yeah,
no, the Maverick is cool too because it has that middle launch. In the middle, I guess.
Yeah, dude. I used to be crazy about this stuff because I used to read like stats on the roller coasters and stuff. I was obsessed with Cedar Point, but like they were because they first announced the coaster like you're gonna start out going like 50 miles an hour, and then you're gonna go in this tunnel, and they're gonna stop you, and then you're gonna go launched back out at like 75 miles an hour. I'm like, oh my God, please, yes,
give it to me. Yeah. Robert, let me ask you. So since you've been in the continental U.S., have you ridden a roller coaster?
No.
Wow. And how long's that been? 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years or so.
Wow. And no desire either. I can see it on your face.
No, like little to no desire.
Would you even consider riding one in VR?
No, because that sounds even stupider.
It's actually interesting, but it would make that makes me more motion sick. To have the sensation of moving like that without your body actually feeling those, it makes me sicker faster.
Right.
Than I would ever get on a roller coaster.
Like the way I think of it, like the reason you get on a roller coaster is because you want to feel all those sweet, sweet G's on your body, you know, and feel like you're going crazy. Whereas with VR, it's kind of like this jokey middleman that kind of makes no sense. Like, why would you bother doing it? Like, you know, you're trying to get on a roller coaster without actually getting on a roller coaster. It kind of feels like a cop out.
To me, it's the novelty of feeling just how easy it is to manipulate the human brain, right? You can actually feel like you are 500 feet in the air. And you're really just sitting at your desk like you always are, you know? It's just like a novel thing, at least the first few times. So I did want to bring up, though, Cedar Point just recently announced their latest roller coaster, Steel Vengeance, which will be out next May 2018. And guys, it's a hyper coaster. It's based on roughly the old frame of the Mean Streak, which is wooden roller coaster. And wooden is 100% like my favorite genre of roller coasters. It always has been ever since I rode the Beast for the first time in Kings Island. But this is a hyper coaster now, and it's a hyper hybrid coaster or whatever. Because
so when they say what does hyper coaster mean? Exactly?
Well, I mean, the easiest way to say this is the Steel Vengeance, when it comes out at Cedar Point, it's going to be shattering 10 world records in this one coaster.
Excuse me?
Yes, 10 world records. So let me explain to you what a hybrid coaster is, though, because traditionally you have steel, okay, on a track, or on a rail, and then you have like wooden, right? And the wooden roller coasters are always a little more rinkety, and obviously, they're a little scarier, honestly, and a little more rough with you. The ride is a lot rougher.
Ride the blue streak.
Yeah, you could definitely like bruise your arms on some of these wooden roller coasters out there. And I've seen in Cedar Point, there's another wooden roller coaster. I can't remember one. It's not a huge one though, but I've seen it flex. Like when
there's Gemini?
When the car goes on it. No, I can't. It's kind of
Mean Streak, Blue Streak, and Gemini.
If you're looking at the if you're looking at Top Thrill Dragster, it's like to the left side of it. It's in like Frontier Town or something like that.
That's probably Mean Streak.
It's not Mean Streak. It's a smaller roller coaster. Anyways, It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, but it's a smaller one. But I've seen the whole track like flex like that when the people are like on the train on top. And I'm waiting in line. I'm sitting here watching this like, that's going to break like any minute now. Like maybe we shouldn't get on the thing, but we did and we ended up okay. Anyways, so the hybrid style coasters are kind of the best of both worlds. So you have the wooden frame, you have the wooden build, but the rail itself is very, very smooth. And the ride typically is much smoother and much faster than you'd be able to get on a traditional wooden coaster, because wooden coasters can't really handle certain speeds without being like almost unsafe. And so I mentioned earlier, Steel Vengeance breaks 10 different world records. So I'll just read off some of them for you. So if you ride this coaster one time next spring in Cedar Point, what you're going to do is you're going to be on the world's tallest hybrid roller coaster, the world's fastest, the world's steepest drop on a hybrid roller coaster, 90-degree drop, the world's longest drop on a hybrid coaster, 200 feet, the world's longest hybrid coaster period at 5,740 feet, the most inversions on a hybrid coaster before, the fastest air time on a hybrid roller coaster, 73 miles an hour, the most air time, so the ride is about 2 minutes or so roughly. 27.2 seconds of that 2 minutes, you're going to be in the air feeling weightless, which is pretty crazy sounding.
Dude, yes.
So then it has that. So it has the most airtime, and then not just of any hybrid roller coaster, but then it breaks a second record with the most airtime of any coaster in the world. Then it's also the world's first hybrid roller coaster like this. So it is completely insane. And we're going to draw this back to video games, I promise. Planet Coaster, just 3 days after Cedar Point announced this, they're like, oh, by the way, you can ride that, or you can like just ride this now in our game. It's in the game now with the latest patch for free, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and that's really good cross promotion too on Cedar Point's part. You're like, hey, we're gonna announce this now.
Actually,
yeah, like we're gonna announce this now. We'd love to have it in the game. That game is super uber popular, probably the best theme park game of the times right now. Mm-hmm. It's on my wish list for sure. But it's just really exciting, and I went, and you can also like kind of do like a simulation ride on YouTube. Cedar Point likes to do that as well now. So I'm really, really excited. I mean, as if you didn't already have enough reasons to love Cedar Point. I mean, I remember last year Valraven was the big deal, and it's like 2 huge coasters, world record breaking coasters, 2 years in a row. That's so awesome.
Yeah, Gatekeeper and Valraven. Valraven was definitely better than Gatekeeper in my opinion. But I wasn't like super duper impressed by Valraven personally. I don't know. Did you ride it, Jack? You rode it, right?
Yeah, I rode it a couple times. So I hate to come out like this, but I just don't have time anymore to wait. So I splurged on the fast passes.
So how effective was that actually?
It's so good. I got to ride so many roller coasters that I actually got nauseous because I was doing it at such a clip. Right, you just walk to one, boom, go. Walk to one, boom. Literally, Valraven. This is like the debut year, last May or whatever. I literally walk up, and without even breaking stride, I just walk past about 500 people probably. Don't even break stride. The guy waves us on. And he's like, "Here you go. Here's your seat. Sit down."
That's so great.
Like I said, without even stopping for a split second, just strolled right on, put the seatbelt on, and got to ride it. So turns out when you ride roller coasters that fast, that's when you start getting sick.
Yeah, I've never actually done it that fast because I've never had the money to splurge on a fast pass.
Dude,
they're like what, $150?
I think it's like 120, but still, it's ridiculous.
On top of the tipic.
For a day.
On top of the ticket. the ticket. Jesus, I can't talk. But
tipics included. And parking. Yeah. So no, but it's not cheap. I'm not recommending this for everybody, but I do recommend it at least once if you just want to feel like royalty, and if you just want to catch the side eye and the ire of like thousands of people at one time. Like, people were giving me dirty looks, and I don't blame them. Like, why does this guy get to ditch us? He just has a little bit more money. Like,
well, dude, you go there for one day. You got to make sure you got to have a good day, because you're spending a lot of money there anyway. So it's worth it to spend a little bit more to make sure you're having a good day there.
I figured it'd be a very long time before I come back to Ohio, let alone Cedar Point. So I was like, we're going to do this right this last time, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, Robert. Go ahead.
How did it feel to be the top 1% for once in life?
I recommend it.
Hear that, Wall Street? We recommend it.
So ladies and gentlemen, the best park in the world, Cedar Point. Best amusement park in the world.
Clearly, that's one thing that Texas, I think, is lacking in. There is like a Six Flags or something down here, but there's no like great roller coasters. You kind of have to travel to Florida or California, I guess. You're kind of in the middle of both, so you can take your pick. But no, Cedar Point clearly is the clear winner. It's the best. If you like roller coasters, that's where you need to go. So what are your top... All right. I'm not even going to ask you, Robert, because you probably haven't even ridden 3 coasters in your life.
I have. Don't know their names, but I have.
So what are like your top 3?
I mean,
that either you have rode or like are on your bucket list to ride, right?
Well, so my favorite coaster of all time is actually the Maverick, because it's just so dynamic.
It's fun. I definitely had bugs like slap me in the face when I was in the front row. That's the danger of that that one.
What I like about it is it's got a lot of stuff going on. It's constantly like whipping you around and kind of beating the shit out of you, which I kind of like. And it's always like flipping you upside down or like making you go faster. It's always doing something. That's what I like about it. There's no boring second of that coaster.
Is there a loop in that one?
It does those like what do they call them, horseshoe rolls or whatever.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's trying to simulate. It's called Maverick. It's trying to simulate like riding like a wild horse.
Yeah, like a wild. Yeah, and it's exactly what it feels like, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what it's going for. It's successful in that.
Yeah, but it's like, it may not be like the tallest or the fastest, but it's the most dynamic in my opinion. That's why I like it. That's why it's my favorite.
Yeah, that 95-degree drop makes all the difference.
Dude, that drop, even though it's not huge, like it gets you every time. Because it's just like, you get there like, okay, this isn't, oh shit.
Like, I can't wait to see Robert ride the Millennium Force or something like that.
Dude, like,
bring your Depends, man.
I wish I could ride the Millennium Force for the first time again, because like I remember how badly I was shitting my pants the first time I rode it.
I mean, just how steep that incline is and how fast it goes. It's just like mind blowing. It was the world's first like giga coaster, right?
Right.
It kind of started the arms race. So okay, so Maverick's up there for you. I think it's a good pick.
So like, I mean, I have a small like sample size to pick from, because I've basically only been to Cedar Point.
Okay. Well, still, that's good stuff. And again, if there's one that you know of that you haven't rode yet that is like on your bucket list, like 2 more.
Which one is the tallest in the world still? Is it still the King Dakar at like Six Flags somewhere?
Yeah. As far as I know, yeah.
I want to ride that just to say I did it, but it's literally just the dragster, which with an extra bunny hill and an extra 10 feet on the big hill itself, I think, or something like that. It's stupid, and it goes like 10 miles an hour faster. But when you're going 120, I don't think you're gonna notice that much of a difference anyway.
Right.
But,
miles per hour.
Yeah. So, Millennium's a close second.
It's a classic
Maverick for me.
It's so smooth, man. Yeah, it's so smooth.
It is. It's really smooth. It's so much fun. And honestly, in terms of coasters I've rode for my top 3, my third one would probably be Magnum, because thing is, every time I go to Cedar Point, Magnum never has a long wait. Almost true. Never.
Yeah.
And it like, so you can ride it like 3 or 4 times in a row. It's fun. It's like, it's decently huge. It's got a decent amount going on. You get a nice view of the lake. You get the especially on a hot day, man, you ride that and you get the nice lake breeze coming off there.
Thing about the Magnum for me is that it's very unsmooth for a steel coaster. It's very rough. Like, you don't expect that. You're like, oh, okay.
It's an earlier one. It was built in 89. I think.
It was the first one of its kind. When I was a little kid back then, I thought like it was like going past the clouds. Just like, you know, like you think stupid stuff when you're younger, but
yeah, my dad was like, he was telling me when he was a kid, when he went there, man, he was 16, I think, when it came out. 15 or 16, and he was telling me, he's like, yeah, dude, I remember like the first time my parents rode it, I refused, like I was scared shitless to get on the Magnum, and I was like, that's so funny. But he's like, yeah, but now he rides everything.
I'm so excited for Steel Vengeance. I've seen it. I've like gone through the FOV video or the POV video. I'm so pumped for that. I can't wait to just experience that, you know, breaking 10 world records, you know,
dude,
in
for
one
sure.
Go. I think that Valraven is a little bit underrated. I think that first drop is incredible. Like I need to ride it again. You look at it and you're just like, okay, that looks fine. But then when you actually experience what a dive coaster does, which, Robert, what it does is it takes you to the very edge and then it just tips you there and it stops completely for like 2 or 3 seconds and then just free falls 90 degrees straight down. So you go from standing still. So you go up to the top and you stop right at the edge. 2, 1, boom. It's awesome.
It's like riding the Power Tower, but on a coaster.
Yeah, it's so that one. I mean, maybe I just kind of have my launch goggles on, right? And since it's newer, it's like more, you know, it's more attractive to me right now. But I really enjoy that one. I would never not ride that going to Cedar Point. And then for me, my most favorite roller coaster of all time doesn't even exist anymore. It's so sad, but Son of Beast at Kings Island was at the time the nastiest, most aggressive, roughest wooden roller coaster on the planet. And it actually had a loop in it. It was the only wooden roller coaster with a loop in it. And so many people, and I rode it like that a couple times. I was lucky enough to get in quickly because so many people got injured on that they had to they ended up taking the loop out of it completely. And then even after that, the rest of the ride was so rough and it was such a liability, they had to tear down the whole roller coaster because too many people were like going to the ER and stuff.
Ugh.
And I loved every minute of it. It was so awesome.
Robert's looking at us like, you crazy bastards.
It was incredible. It was incredible.
I'm just waiting.
Yeah. So, like,
Robert, we're doing this. We're going to Cedar Point. We're going to ride Steel Vengeance.
Oh, yeah.
So
I can't wait.
Get hyped.
Wait, so what's your 2 and 3, Jack? Real quick.
Oh, that wasn't. Didn't I just name 3 of them?
Yeah, he named 3.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Wait, what was your other 2? You said Son of Beast and then
Steel Vengeance, Son of Beast, and now I can't remember what the other one was.
Valraven.
Valraven, yeah.
Man, I don't even give a shit about roller coasters. Come on, Collin.
Colin's sitting here. He's just too excited about next spring that comes out.
Yeah,
so.
dude. Like, I'm stoked. Honestly, so real quick. So there's actually one ride at Cedar Point that I refuse to ride. I have ridden it, but anymore I won't ride it.
Wait, it's a roller coaster or just a ride?
It's a ride.
Oh, I don't do rides.
Yeah, see, I don't either. But at least
what
usually.
Happened? Who hurt you? Who hurt you, Collin?
Where did he
Power
touch you?
Tower.
Why? What's wrong with that one? It just drops you, right?
So here's the thing. So Power Tower, I mean, like the dropping thing, because it's cool, whatever. But like, there was a Six Flags over in I forget where. It was a Six Flags somewhere here in the U.S. But they had a similar ride that was identical to the Power Tower. It was called like the Superman Tower of Power or something stupid, some ripoff. And what had happened was some person got like raised to the top of it. And what happened was, as they were going down, one of the cables snapped, one of the lift cables.
No.
I'm not shitting you. This is a thing that really happened.
I'm just saying no.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And one of the cables snapped, not shitting you, cut clean through that dude's foot.
Nice.
Dude.
Yeah. Clean through, gone. Amputee instantly. I'm like, nope. Mm-mm.
Oh, I
ain't taking that risk.
That's horrendous. I mean, they say that's one of the big reasons why the most dangerous job in the world is working on the top of aircraft carriers, because that arresting cable, that the hooks, you know, when a jet plane is coming to land in on those, you're trying to land on like less than 100 feet and you're trying to stop from like 350 miles an hour to 0. So they can't stop like that without like attaching to this cable. Sometimes those snap. And when you have that much force, that much weight, that much power and potential energy snapping like that, it goes clear across, it goes into the water across the back of the aircraft carrier. And if you're standing there and that happens, you're just gone now.
You're done. It's like that scene in what movie? Ghost Ship. You remember that?
Yeah, you just cease to be.
Yeah.
That's a closed casket funeral. That's not a good time.
That's
Can we
brutal,
talk
but-
about something happy now?
Yeah, let's. Robert's like, fuck you guys and your roller coasters and your thrill rides.
Ooh, okay. What do you want to talk about, Robert? What, video games? What kind of podcast do you think this was?